Hi, everyone. My name is Islam Khair. I've been with Globe for 10 years now, and a lot of you know me. I work with the Globe Community Support Team. I welcome you to our first community session. Today, we have a really great group of presenters with some very interesting and great presentations. So I hope you enjoy that. And please use the poll in the platform, the Pathable platform, and also use the chat section in the platform as well to post any questions you have for the presenters. And now we're gonna have Durian Jenny. So please go ahead and start your presentation. I don't see Durian. Hello? Did we?
After all that being ready and hanging in here, I got kicked off. So greetings.
Welcome back.
Greetings and salutations. I suppose I am preaching to the choir, having some technical difficulties as we're all kind of still learning in these virtual environments and beginning to enjoy the opportunities to get back in person. Can you see my screen and hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, then I'm ready to go. So I am delighted, albeit a little bit nervous about being the first one to give a lightning talk, but I'm really happy to be sharing this with our Globe family, because what this is it is a project that I'm hoping you will seriously think about joining and perhaps having your students use the information within this project, this packet, if you will, to help them do some investigations. As we are building a stronger Globe community, sometimes we need some ways to come together and have a focus that might not be on a specific timeline, that's kind of more open-ended. And that is what I'm kind of inviting you and any citizen scientist to consider joining. This also, I feel like, supports the open science efforts that we were hearing about, the open source science efforts, as it is an opportunity not only for each of us to share our Globe data, but also for myself, as someone who works with NASA with a mission that's measuring global precipitation. I will share with you your NASA data for the location of your tree. So let me tell you, now that I've given you the teaser, a bit about the project. Here you see my 5-year-old granddaughter hugging a tree. And as I watch her love her tree, I was wondering, will this tree still be sustainable? Will it still be around when she's 35? What will it be like in the next 30 years? So I thought of a way that we could come together as a community and we could embrace our trees, like my little granddaughter. We could learn about one tree that we really like or find kind of special, and then we could share that information with each other. I am going to be sharing the link to this in the chat window. And you also, there is a file that I created where you can get all of this information. I'm not going to go through this entire resource packet with you. I'm just going to show you a little bit of information here in the next 10 minutes or 7 minutes. So it's a global collaborative project. And what you do is you pick a tree that you want to tell your story about. And you do a tree height measurement. And from the tree, you stand in all directions and you do a land cover measurement. That's all you need to do. Then you send to me your screenshots of your tree height and land cover data. And then I generate for you a couple of different things. The first thing I do is I go through and I take the latitude and longitude and I find out how much precipitation fell on that tree over the past 22 years using the data from NASA's Global Precipitation Measurement Mission. Then I take that and I share that with you, and then I add you to the map of telling our tree stories. Let me come over here and pick one of these tree stories and give you an example. Over here, if you send me a couple of pictures, then I can include a picture of where your tree is located. Again, let's respect confidentiality like we always do. And no pictures of people unless you send me their media permission slips. Then I will take a look at and get the information. Here we're looking at that land cover data. And then we're also looking at where this data was collected from. And here is an example of, in this case, I'm sharing the seasonal amount of precipitation that fell in the location of this tree. And I know that by looking at the, I can look over here and see how many millimeters of precipitation fell. And so that's what helps me to be able to do that. And so I do hope that you will consider joining this. Right now, I'm just getting a strange thing coming up on my Zoom screen. So it's making me concerned that perhaps I am not still on. Could someone just give me a hello if I'm still presenting?
You're good, Dorian.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much. I'm seeing an ad coming up. So with this resource package, you can come in here and learn more about the mission that I work for, the data that you're going to be getting from me, how and why we use data from satellites to help us better understand our home planet. You're also going to be learning about the tree and the land cover tool. I also thought it would be important to share how do we know so far and how do we anticipate that climate change is going to be impacting trees all around the world. So I created a resource packet that uses a lot of different resources from the satellite mission I support and a lot of other NASA resources as well. And we'll go ahead and give you or your students, whomever you're working with, a lot more rich background information to better assess and understand how their trees and whether or not that tree will be sustainable in the next 30 years. So that's just kind of an extra part to this telling our tree stories that I added. So I do hope you will consider being a part of this and just collecting your land cover data only from around your tree. You do not have to categorize or classify any of it. And then also your tree height measurement. So pick a tree that you love and send me that information, and feel free to take a look at some of these resource packets that I have developed to help us with that.
The baobab is one of the strangest
So I'm
trees on
going to
earth.
stop sharing
Its
there.
branches resemble roots.
And
Some people even call it the upside down tree.
oh, sorry about that. That's on my end. That's a little bit of there's a little another preview of coming attractions. That is something I can also insert videos into that tree height, into that tree project. All righty, folks, I'm going to stop there and just see if there are any questions.
Well, I heard about your tree project and I thought of my tree, and it was the tree I jumped out of when I was a little kid, and another tree that I made my my tree house in. And I had to go there on Google Earth because I don't live there. So I couldn't make a tree project because I wasn't there. So I'll work on some other tree, or when I go visit, I'll take a picture of that.
I was going to say, pick another tree to get started with. And, you know, when you pick your tree, you could be on vacation and just see a tree and say, you know, wow, what kind of tree is that? Pull out, you know, your iNaturalist app or whatever you use to identify the species of trees, find out what kind of tree it is. Any information that you want to add to this tree story would be wonderful. So please, you know, when you send me your information, and sometimes I'll send an email back to you saying, wow, this is really neat. Can you tell me a little more information about your tree? And you'll see when you look at the tree story that there are a lot of different examples of the ways in which and the questions that you might answer to to help me tell your tree story. But be creative, have fun. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. And then, you're going to show up on this big map. And since we are this fabulous global community, how cool for us to just have this kind of jump in here and tell our tree story and share it with each other. And if one wants to learn more about the tree and wants to better understand how climate change might impact the species of trees that you have, I think that would be a really cool international virtual science symposium project. And students would have access to this project and have access to this data and be able to jump in there and kind of have a head start. So yes, let's get some more points on the map here.
Thank you so much, Dorian.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go ahead for the second presentation. We're going to have Judy Haney. I have a video that I will share with the presentation for Judy. The presentation is Growing Globe via Project Prairie Pandemic Partnership. I'm going to try to share my screen here, so bear with me a moment. Can everybody see?
Looks good.
Hi, this is Jody Haney. Our project is Project Prairie Pandemic. Thanks to YLACES and Dixon Butler for your support of this project. We also had some funding from the National Geographic. We started out this project with the Toledo Zoo, who had a program to install prairies all over the region. And Project Prairie is the name of the piece of that program that installs prairies and does professional development at local schools. The teachers receive some professional development about prairies. Zoo educators go in and teach kids about prairies. And they also do some field work and inquiry, doing some transect studies about the biodiversity of the prairies compared to other places. This project is literally growing. 3 years ago, it started out with 3 schools, and then today it has 18 schools in 6 districts. And very recently, the zoo secured funding to have expand this project to 50 schools over the next 5 years. So we're very excited about our potential and the new partnership that we've formed. When we wrote this project, we really wanted to get the kids to still be learning by doing while during the pandemic. And we were in a hybrid model of learning where they were on campus at school some days of the week and learning at home other days of the week. So we took on the research project, how do backyard environments compared to school prairies, knowing that the kids could do research in both areas. We created our own little globe bundle of these 5 protocol areas: clouds, air temperature, surface temperature, soil temperature, and soil moisture. We needed to be able to get the kids to take some equipment home, so we created some backpacks. That's what we predominantly use the money from YLACES for. Put in equipment so that the students can measure those 5, take those 5 measurements at home. But we first taught them how to do that at school. So we did this first in one school with 4th grade students. We taught them how to do cloud observations. I came out and then taught them how to make the other measurements for the other areas that we just talked about. And they practiced in their school prairies all of these data collection measurements, and we have conversations about why this data was important. Then they took the backpacks home and repeated the same studies at home. And the teachers created some social media so that the parents knew what was happening, and that worked out really well. We repeated the same thing with a group of 5th graders from a different school, set up some backpacks. I came in, kids practiced the data in the prairies. We sent the backpacks home with them. They could collect data at home, as you see here, and it all worked very well. That all happened last year. This academic year, really what we wanted to focus was on student research. So we put the students in small groups and had them write their own research questions with some guidance from me. And you can see that I was zooming in with them for this part of the presentation. Then the kids, after they created a research design and plan, they went out and collected data for their own research question. Might be, how does surface temperature in the prairie compare to the schoolyard or to the blacktop or parking lot, etc. We taught them how to do Google Slide presentations and how to video record those. and how to create research posters. I looked at all of that, gave them some feedback, and also met with them again via Zoom. Each student group I met with to give them some feedback, and so that they can make some improvements that they can incorporate into their posters. At the end of the day, we had 13 projects that were submitted to the Globe International Virtual Science Symposium, and we hosted our own Globe local SRS at the Toledo Zoo this year. We even had one North American IVSS winner, one of our 4th grade teams. So we were super excited about that. All in all, it was a great experience. We're looking to expand this beyond the 2 schools into every Project Prairie school as we move forward. So this was really great seed money and a great opportunity for us. Thank you, Y-Laces.
So that was Judy and everyone. Thank you, Judy. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and post those questions, and we'll go ahead and share your questions with Judy and have her answer those questions later. So now we're going to have the next presentation, and that will be a panel awareness of Globe STEM skills for everyone. And the presenters are Todd Toth, Joe Hodica, and Heidi Hodica. So Todd.
Okay, let me get my screen up here. And can everyone see that?
Yes, I can see it. Can you maximize the window? I can see it in the middle of your screen. Thank you.
There we go. Okay, thank you. Joe, are you on?
Yes, I sure am. How are you today, my friend?
Okay, good enough. I'll start here, and then it'll be your turn after I get the introduction. Okay, Joe?
Terrific.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank everyone for tuning in here today. And I was really thinking after Yvonne Ivy did her talk that I'm thinking that's so perfect for Globe. And it's also kind of a lead in to our presentation here when she mentioned about, the kids are kind of into the tech and electronics and all that, and the idea of open science. And I think Fizzy Labs and the presentation you're going to see here really fits into that. So I'll stop at that and get into our panel presentation. So again, first of all, I want to thank you for joining us. The presentation is entitled Awareness of Globe STEM Skills for Everyone. And as we go through this presentation, please be thinking about how this presentation from Fizzy Labs and their atmospheric sensors might fit into your program or your curriculum. Basically, here's a picture of the Goddard Space Flight Center campus. The Globe Partnership resides in the Office of STEM Engagement here at Goddard. And through this partnership with Fizzy Labs, we're looking to create unique opportunities, build a diverse workforce, and attract diverse groups of students. And again, I think that fits into the overall theme of this year's annual meeting. And we can do that by the schools that the Goddard STEM Office of Engagement works with throughout the 11 state region here in the Northeast. So how this all started? Well, the NASA Office of Strategic Partnerships became aware of Fizzy Labs and saw a possibility of their sensor being something that might fit into the Globe program. They in turn then contacted the NASA Goddard Office of STEM Engagement and asked who the person might be that they would contact for the Globe program, which was me. So I then contacted Joe and Heidi and Guido from Fizzy Labs, and after looking at their presentation, thought that this would be a great fit possibly for the Globe program, in that students are actively engaged and hands-on with Globe. Well, what better way to do this than actually have them build the sensors to gather the data? And I'm not going to tell you a whole lot much more about that because Joe has a great presentation here, but just a real quickie here. Here is what the sensors, in this case, the CO2 sensor looks like. The kids actually build this, okay? And then the data can be transmitted to your smartphone and viewed in a graphic format. And I have that shown here with like the little smiley faces with the red, yellow, and red. The CO2 sensor in this case has the CO2, temperature, and humidity. Although you can have students build these sensors with just about any atmospheric data gathering sensor that you want to put on there. You can have multiple sensors on there. But again, I don't want to get too much into this because Joe is going to do a presentation for you. I also thought that besides being neat to build and the functionality of it can fit into so many different areas, I thought it was a very pleasing interface between the sensor itself and the data that it was presented on your phone and how it was presented on your phone. So at this point, if you have any questions for me, you can ask them at the end or send me an email. And again, the email address is on the Globe website under the Goddard Globe Partnership. So at this point, I want to introduce you to Joe Hudecka, who is in charge, or kind of the president, so to speak, of Fizzy Labs. And he'll talk to you about their goals, services, and products that they can offer. So at this time, Joe, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Todd. I'm really grateful to be able to join everyone here today. And, you know, Todd, as you started sharing about how the wide applicability of the education approach of Fizzy Labs, I just got to share with you guys that the reason that brought Fizzy Labs and the Office of STEM Engagement and the Strategic Partnerships Office together in the first place really bubbled up from years and years of just creative, what our family called productive play. We would take family playtime and we would turn it to the ideas that our kids had. And an amazing thing happened when Joey was 12 and Heidi was 7. They literally began to gamify the approach of taking our creativity and applying it to solving problems in the world. And so part of that gamification was they literally built board games to teach innovation, brainstorming. And of all things, they chose a bit of a space theme to how they went about designing and formatting their games. And this rocket here, this 3D printed rocket, was the signature game piece. Well, just a couple of days ago at the National Association of Rocketry annual event, a much larger version of this that a New Jersey high school student volunteered to engineer a few weeks back, literally flew. Now, I don't have the video evidence yet, but it was a big part of the event last week. And, you know, the sensors were one fun project that continues to extend with the creative ideas that youth share with us as we collaborate on these things. And that's the whole purpose behind Fizzy Labs Foundation. Fizzy Labs Foundation, created by Joey, Heidi, my wife Laura, and I. It's here to empower kids through innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship by infusing innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship into STEM education. So we focus on bringing the firsthand experiences that can help children discover and connect their passions in life and in the world to the educational opportunities that are in front of them, and be able to turn those into real hands-on learning journeys that they sort of create and define themselves. And really everything that we do is focused on the foundation of these 4 core values that you see at the bottom. We focus on helping our youth learn to celebrate their creativity, learn to strengthen their confidence. So having great ideas only goes so far if we're not willing and open and ready to share those with our peers. How to optimize our communication so that in doing so, we can make sure we do the most effective job at getting people to understand, where we're going and what the opportunity is to be able to maximize collaboration together. So this is at the core of everything that we look to bring as a way of augmenting traditional STEM education. Next slide, Todd. How did we start? Well, after creating their first board game. Joey and Heidi wanted to learn how these products actually get manufactured, and they insisted that it happened here in America where they could see the things made. We didn't know where games got manufactured. We didn't know how it happened. So we used our friend Google, and we worked together to build relationships with really amazing organizations like the New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program. Fun fact, every state has one of these nonprofits, funded by the NIST in such a way to be able to help matchmake people and businesses with ideas and opportunities for manufacturing with companies that have the resources and the ability to manufacture. And it was in those conversations that we were learning more and more from the companies in this industry of production and manufacturing, how they were thirsting to find good talent, that they had far more job opportunities than they actually had, applicants. And the more that we researched and got to know our friends throughout the Office of Strategic Partnerships and in other organizations I'll share momentarily, we continued to see this deficit of the students really getting interested, excited, and engaged in these STEM career pathways. And we realized Fizzy had a way of being able to make that learning, be reinvented. Next. So right at the beginning of the pandemic, we were on a particular pathway with Fizzy Labs Foundation, and then all of a sudden, everything's different. Everything changes 2 years ago, and education now has to happen in our houses. And how do we do this? Well, while everything was changing, our Fizzy family, collaborating with another one of our Fizzy friends over in Germany, discovered that he and his children collaborated together with a local university and created this air quality sensor kit. A piece of equipment that you'll see Heidi demonstrate shortly in a video she pre-recorded for you guys today, and show how you not only learn how to be able to build the device, but be able to programmatically design exactly what that device is going to be able to do. So not only is it extensible to so many other sensors, it's actually programmable to be able to do pretty much anything that you would like to make possible. And this link, if you'd like to learn more, it provides a 4-step video sequence for you to be able to follow Heidi's journey in being able to bring this MyMars education mission to youth within your communities as well. So that's an important URL to take down and just have noted for later. Next, Todd. So as Heidi will go into it, I want you to know that not only does the data file, get produced as you see in the top left, but programmatically we have the this graphical block interface as you see in the top right and lower right, so that it's parameterized. So students learn the meaning of the structure of each of these blocks and how they connect together in appropriate ways, which in turn generates the programmatic code that gets installed directly on the device from the student's computer. So it provides a bridge to be able to learn these advanced capabilities in a way where neither the student nor the teacher needs to be the expert in how to solder electronics, how to write C+ or any of these other languages. It provides a really nice bridge in learning experience for students to be able to traverse. Next. We do have, as Todd mentioned, many different capabilities with the sensors in terms of how we can extend these. Right now, we're actually working on an early version. Todd, I don't know if it's too hot off the press, but we're working on a brand new sun photometer extension for the platform as well. And we're going to be working very hard to make sure that each of these devices that we can bring to the table will align very nicely with the protocols that that Globe has. Next. Just to give you a sense of some of our other partnerships, and again, it was connecting with Daryl, several years ago, where he had identified this opportunity collaborating together to be able to reach the wider, more diverse group of young people that we work towards together today, and to be able to inspire that larger audience towards more innovative STEM career pathways. But we have other partnerships that are very similar, like with the U.S. Army Innovation Labs based up here in New Jersey. And there's several organizations that are really, you know, stepping up and getting into this conversation to be able to create this more exciting and engaging learning experiences the way that I got to see in the previous presentation. And I hope that we you know, can help extend it in the same way. Next, Todd. There's a full-scale curriculum that we prepare and provide in support of the activities that we bring, not only with the sensor kit, but then to be able to extend into the innovation-specific pathway, into the entrepreneurial-specific pathway, as well as to creativity as a separate learning journey thread in and of itself. So we have a pretty strong team that we work with in being able to put together our content, not only for our curriculum, but to be able to work with our education partners when there's an opportunity for us to support them in various grant operations. So just want to let you know that's a core part of the help and support that we can provide too. Next. And, you know, this is just one example here. This really cool picture is coming from about 4 years ago when Princeton University launched their first ever innovation labs. It was an exciting moment. It was a moment not only to be able to bridge to the community's youth, but really to be able to help Princeton University bridge to the professionals in the biolabs and life sciences space that are living in their midst, but didn't even know necessarily that this brand new innovation resource was being established in the community to be able to help the university, you know, identify and strengthen relationships with more of the businesses within the community, and be able to establish more and further technology transfer opportunities together, which I think is, you know, is a really powerful way to be able to take this learning experience and extend it and make it stronger and stronger and repeatable as we go. Thank you, Todd.
Okay, and here again is the address if you want to get a hold of Joe and contact him, get more information. And there may be some time here at the end for some questions, and I know we have a question and answer period later on in the week, so we want to keep that in mind. So at this point, okay, I want to get Heidi up here, and she will give you the ins and outs of the CO2 sensor and how to build it and what's involved. So I'll get this started right now.
Hi everyone, my name is Heidi. I'm 15 years old and I'm one of the founders of Physilabs Foundation. So you just heard about how I've been working with Globe to reach more people, but I also want to talk about what makes Physilabs and My Mars mission so accessible to everyone. So one of the ways we do this is through our digital curriculum found on our website. So I'm going to share my screen and share that with you today. So our website is mymarsmission.physilabs.org. So when you type that in and you open the page, you'll see something like this. And you'll be greeted by me showing you how to use our sensor and how it works in different locations, like outside, indoors, places that have more wind, less wind. And after you register over here, you'll actually be able to see the curriculum. It'll bring you to a page like this after you watch the introductory video. So when you load this page, you'll see lessons 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each of these lessons are videos, which makes it easy to follow along in my process. And after you complete the video series, you'll have a fully working sensor. But if you want more, you can go to the 3 rocket boosters you see at the top of the screen. In Rocket Booster 1, you'll learn about soldering safety. I'll go through a little bit of that today when I solder, but if any of that scares you, I would suggest looking at Rocket Booster 2, where you learn about a solder-free option, which makes this program even more accessible to more students. In Rocket Booster number 3, you learn about how to download the Arduino software, and you may have heard of Arduino or even used it before. So Arduino is a place where you can code, but you have to know exactly how to type out everything in order for it to work. But by using ArduBlock, an extension with blocks you can click and drag together, it's more simpler for students to learn how to code and for it to be a little less intimidating. So just as easy as it was to navigate through this website and all of the curriculum, I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually solder and code the sensor. Okay, so now I have all my pieces in front of me ready to solder. I have the CO2 board, the Wi-Fi board, the diode, the 3 resistors, the 3 LEDs, the connectors, and then I have for safety, I have the fan on, and I have my hair tied back since I have really long hair. So I have my soldering iron set up over here, so I can just put it back. And then I also need the solder to connect it. So following the instructions in the video, I know that this piece goes right here, and it will be followed by the same piece going over here. And so they line up perfectly, so you don't have to worry about it measuring anything out. And then you just attach the Wi-Fi board to that. So that's what I'm going to be going through today. Okay, perfect. So I have the finished kit here now, and I have the battery pack with the USB, which means that you can access this kit anywhere and make sure it still has power, and it's portable. So once I attach this together, we'll have the final reveal to see how the air quality in my room is. I hope it's good. I do have a window open right now, but I do have another window I could open. The green light. So that means that the air quality and the CO2 level is good in my room. And what's good about this is you can bring this home or to any environment you can see. Oh, the light just turned yellow from me talking. But you can bring this to any environment and compare it with your friends or anyone and compare the actual data too. So to see the actual data, you have to get another device. It could be a computer, anything, but for me, I'm going to use my phone. And when I go to my Wi-Fi network, I'll see something called CO2 monitor. And when I connect to that, it'll ask me for a password, which is just simply CO2 monitor. And then I go to the site 192.168.4.1, which is the location where all of my data will be represented in graphs and a smiley face corresponding to the lights on the sensor. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So now it's fully loaded in on my phone. So you can see a green smiley face there, which corresponds to the light on this actual sensor. And then the first graph is the CO2. Now I'm not sure if you can exactly see the data through my computer camera, but at the top of the screen, it shows the current measurements, like that the CO2 is 743 ppm, the temperature is 83 degrees Fahrenheit, and the humidity is 39%. So it is a little hot in my room. I just finished soldering, so hopefully it'll cool down. And then if you want to look at graph formats and compare over time, you can look at that too. So by including the digital platforms like the completely online curriculum where you can access this at any point and even walk through the demonstration of how I create the sensor and solder it alongside with me, we're really trying to make sure that everyone has access to this curriculum and has the capability to have the same experiences. So for example, if you don't know how to solder, that's okay. We have a solderless experience too. And then once everyone has their kits, by collecting the data and sharing it from different locations. It helps unite students in a scientific way. So thank you for listening to me. And if you have any questions for me directly, you can email me at Heidi, Heidi, at fizzylabs, FIZZEELABS.org. Thank you for listening. Hi, everyone.
And that's Heidi's presentation. And again, here is their email address if you want to get in contact with them. And I do want to thank Heidi and Joe for being part of this presentation today. And I believe we have a couple of minutes here. We can answer a few questions if that's possible here. So let me get out of this and see if we have any questions.
Well, I'd like to answer the first obvious one. Heidi got a unique opportunity to do a pre-college program at Brown this week. So we literally just road tripped up there yesterday and will be again Friday. So she's really heartbroken that she couldn't be here live today. That's why she put together the recording, and she'd be delighted to speak with you guys, afterwards upon her return. So thank you for expressing. I'm watching the thoughts and insights, and it's exactly why we do what we do in the foundation. That's the energy that we know is out there, and we just want to help fuel.
Any quick questions, anyone? We're looking to do, I'll throw this out quickly. We're looking to do some pilots. So if anybody's interested, please let us know, and we'll see what we can come up with here.
Brian, you know your 80s music, huh, buddy? Well done. Be careful, on a future meeting, I will probably sing.
Anybody else here? Well, if not, I believe Aslam asked me to tell you there's a break coming up here. I believe it runs till for about 17 minutes here until the next session starts. So if there are no other questions, we will end at this point. Is that okay, Aslam?
Yep. Thank you so much, Todd. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, everyone.
Timing was great, Todd. I actually got a formal invite to sing. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joe. Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Greetings. Thank you. We hear you.
Thank you. So we're going to continue our sessions, our presentations, our session, and we'll go ahead and continue with the next presentation. So our next presentation will be STEM Program for Science Communication, promoting science enthusiasm based on scientific basic principles. And the presenters are Magdalena Waliska, Aldina Sigura, and Julianne Felix. I'm sorry if I misspelled your names, so please go ahead and present yourself when you start your presentations. Do we have Magdalena?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes, thank you.
Well, I had some issues with my PPT, but I'm going to reshare. First of all, thank you, GLOVE, for this wonderful opportunity to share and to know all of these wonderful experiences. I am humbled and honored to be here. And after the previous presenters, I'm really excited to join you with our small program. This program can you check if you confirm that you can see my presentation?
Yes,
yeah.
I can see it.
Perfect. Okay. Our project started in 2017 when we, after 15 years of trying to answer an age-old question, how do we promote kids to learn STEAM and to get interested in STEAM career paths, we came up with a new STEAM program, like the reboot of all the work we did. And we came up with a multi-level intervention, a regional intervention that works Mexico and Guatemala, and we started expanding it worldwide. Let me tell you that through the pandemic, I believe we all had that issue. We were doing a lot of face-to-face interventions, and we had to move real quick to another approach. We started doing online seminars, conferences, meetings, providing students with high-quality contents, and we tried to keep it based on key scientific concepts. We found out that during the pandemic, because the quick adaptation was not made for public instances, we had to fill those gaps really quick. Our students were eager to learn, but we had the ordeal that the public administration were falling behind on this quick adaptation. So we took the opportunity and we did an online series of seminars that it's still running. And I'm sending a lot of emails today to send to these wonderful lectures that I've been hearing to invite you to participate in our seminars. And this year we have reached 1 million participants online worldwide reach. We have interesting results from these seminars that I'm going to share with you. And my colleague had issues connecting, but we have a video. So what do we do? What is a STEAM program trying to reach kids and trying to motivate them? Well, let me share a little bit of what we do. Are you hearing the video? Yes. So we have a STEM kit design for our activities. It has low-cost materials, so students can replicate the activities at home, share it, and keep the kit. The first hurdle that we had to face was that when we asked institutions to share kits, they told us, no, you can't give the kit an Arduino and just leave them like that. And we were going through a lot of challenges to do this. So we got funding from the U.S. Embassy in Guatemala, who has provided the funding for the kits, and we've been able to do more thanks to that. We have a lot of kids eager to participate, and we send them the kits. Usually, prior to the pandemic, we will do a one-day activity where we will host 40 simultaneous workshops, and the kids will participate and get the kits on the workshops. Now, during the pandemic, we send the kids ahead so they can participate and have their own kits prior to the activity. This has proven to be an effective technique from us to share with them. And we've been doing a lot of stuff related to a STEAM curriculum that we believe it has to be multidisciplinary. We do concert conferences where we invite kids to participate in a Physics of Music festival and conference. We do workshops. We do Meet a Scientist, where we have invited Nobel Prize winners, field medal prizes, breakthrough prizes, to share with kids their experiences and how they become interested in science. Also, we have a STEM club that runs every Saturday. It was on face-to-face prior to the pandemic, but now it's online. And we have students that we mentor all year long. Some of these students are now participating in the International Virtual Science Symposium in Globe, which I'm going to share with you later. And you see, we try to keep them interested and engaged, but we also have a multi-age intervention. We have kids from all ages interacting and participating, building their own prototypes, as you can see, building, checking, and doing with low-tech materials. But we also have the concert conference, when you can see the orchestra is particularly composed of kids. We try to motivate kids to continue their studies. And
bridging the gap on science education with the STEAM
our project
program.
has been trying to
Linked
bridge the
laboratories
gap.
working together to bring students from K-12 to higher education all the way to research.
Our binational team, Julián Félix, Universidad de Guanajuato.
Magdalena Valesca, Aldana Segura, Universidad de San Carlos de Guatemala.
We seek to train a new generation of scientists greatly needed in our region to promote development. To fill the gap in science education with the STEAM program, K-12 students to spark scientific curiosity, generate the public to create science awareness, teachers and parents to involve in the learning process, higher education students to close the cycle where they lead the next generations of scientists and train a new one. What do we do? Seminars with experts, over 20 international recognized institutions, more than 40 international experts, leaders in their respective research fields.
Interactive activities.
Based on scientific principles, participants learn with hands-on experiences. Online workshops. Based on French principles, students get a different online experience, meaningful and proper scientific delivery. We promote an equal participation environment. One of our interesting results is our gender reach, achieving 48% participation of women. We have an age range of 75% between the ages of 13 and 24 years old. We seek funding to expand our reach, to be able to seek young talented kids who will lead a new generation of scientists with proper scientific training. We seek to get funding to accommodate the students in proper facilities according to new regulations. What makes us unique? The binational effort grew to what you see today. We started the dream of having linked laboratories that could search for talent young. The whole experience from K-12 to the higher education as a full cycle allows participants to remain engaged and motivate others on a STEAM-oriented career path. Help us to continue the effort to fill the gap in science education with the STEAM program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bridging the gap.
So as I was telling you, we have reached over 1 million participants, and we have reached this milestone in the last month. So we're thrilled to share with you that last week we had Howard Georgi from Harvard, and we're going to have Álvaro de Rúcula on August, and Takaki Kahita, the Nobel Prize winner, is going to be with us in November. So we're trying to promote science awareness in a new generation. You see, we have a multi-grade intervention that we try to keep kids interested. We have several case studies with our students. Some of them, we have mentored them for the last 5 years. So now they are reaching the university and they are interested in STEAM career paths. We always told them that whatever they want to study, it's fine. As long as they like it, they are fine with it and they're happy. But it has to be their choice and their liking. So we have found out that students who participate in the program tend to go to the STEAM-oriented career paths, and they continue on the career paths for over 5 years after the conclusion of the program. And we have a first principle approach for the early stages. We try to keep it low cost, as you can see. And you can see our participants are in grammar school who do the activities with experts from around the world that we ask to participate with us. And from the top laboratories around the world, CERN, Fermilab, Oakland, they have been reaching to the students and they are eager to participate. These students are now in several projects, the hackathons, the NASA hackathons, the Globe IBSS, as I told you, and they're running in the National Math Olympics this year. So we hope to have great results with these kids. But also on the latest stages of the program, we have students who are now in the physics career in Guanajuato, in the laboratory run by my colleague, Julian Felix. And these are our students, almost running out of time, but our students from the IBSS this year presented a project automating with an Arduino the irrigation system for an orchard. It worked particularly well. Both students are separated 190 kilometers, and to this day, they haven't met each other. It's an interesting result of the pandemic, the way we were able to collaborate with these two students who don't know each other, haven't been face-to-face to each other in all the pandemic, but they were able to build, test, and monitor this system for over 8 months. The program has won 7 awards, including the Hybrid Learning Silver Award from Reimagine Education Awards last year, and we won the 2nd place in Latin America for our educational intervention. This kind of prizes have motivated us to reach new activities and new ways to collaborate with others. And let me introduce to you the laboratory that is in Guanajuato, which is part of our collaboration. It was established 15 years ago, and now it participates in the biggest collaborations of DUN and Minerva and Fermilab, where students, they do their own prototypes, as you can see. They build their electronics, they build their own prototypes to test further into science. And now they are collaborating and participating in programs in Fermilab. They have published over 15 articles in high-impact journals. And lately, they are working to test and detect, as you can see, cosmic rays, also in mines, and doing the latitude and longitude studies. And they recently went into some mines in Guatemala. You can see the silver cage. They built their own detector. They have the silver cage and they have the detector in hands. And this is inside Mina El Escobal in Guatemala. They were 400 meters below Earth, testing for cosmic ray with their innovations. So we try to promote our students the research part of the program. And I thank you for the opportunity to share our project with you. And if any one of you wants to collaborate with us, we will be happy to have you in our program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magdalena. Is anybody else present with you, or is this with a presentation? Because it's supposed to run until 11:45 Mountain Time. So I think we're done early, right?
Yes, because my colleague had some issues connecting.
Okay, no worries. Do we have any questions? Or Magdalena, could you please post it in the chat so she would have the chance to answer your questions? You can use the chat in here, or you can also use the chat within the annual meeting platform if you wish, and I'm monitoring both of them.
Can I answer, Cynthia?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Cynthia. Well,
nice to see you.
I am a physicist. My colleague is also a physicist. I've been in love with physics since I can remember, but the entry point to loving physics was astronomy. So after, well, I guess it's for all of us. We are in love with the universe. But then when I started teaching at the university, I found that my students were not much in love. They didn't fall in love as quickly as we do with physics. So we started asking why are not more people engaged in STEM? Or why are there no more physicists in my country particularly? So we started trying to teach students physics in new ways to keep them motivated. And I started working with teachers, but then I found out that I had to work with teachers and students at the same time and with administrators, so we could pull this together. And it's been an effort for over 15 years. So this is how we started with STEM. We do believe in the multidisciplinary part of this. And how do we connect with Nobel Prize winners? Well, it's a tricky question. It's been a lot of work getting them between conferences and trying to ask them to collaborate with us. Not everybody says yes. They have pretty tough agendas, but we also invite everybody to come. But let me do, I am honored that Yupaporn Lab Live is here with us because I'm a super big fan of Yupaporn, who runs the GLOBE program in Asia. Pom Pom, I'll always love you. Oh, perfect, Cynthia, I will let my mail here. And also GLOBE country coordinator is here.
Yeah, I also think you're tying into a place we're going with deaf mute children that have the cochlear implant, and that there are ways that you can sign and symbol and crisscross over these areas that's more like poetry. And I think with drumming we can explain some physics ideas as well as some musical ideas that talk about radiation and movement and time and space.
Perfect. We did try to go into sign language to start with, and we had many challenges with that, but we're open to anyone who wants to collaborate with us. We found out that this concert conference, Physics of Music, is a great way to reach kids. And this eliminates those barriers, because even we had a couple of autistic kids who really enjoyed the program and they were able to connect with music. Once they connected with the program, they kept on the program. So we're eager to collaborate with anyone who wants to help us. We are here. And thank you.
There's maybe also some people in Scotland that are doing interesting research and doing brain studies at the same time with math. And I think there's a reason those kids can link and sort of soar in between when you're talking to the other students and the teachers and the administrators, because they go their own way. And that big thing about saying, let them study anything, lets them not be stopped because you have to teach the other kids. So okay. It's great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any more questions, and also I'm looking at the annual meeting platform. I do not see also question there. So thank you so much, Magdalena, for this presentation. This was great. Thank you so much for that. And then for now, I wonder if the presenters for the next presentations are okay presenting early, if they would like to. Tracy, let me know, just, you know, summed up if you're okay with presenting us a bit earlier.
Hi, Islam. Yeah, we're here and we're happy to move forward. Myself,
Awesome.
Peggy, and Svetlana. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so okay, I'll let you go ahead and present and you know, with your team. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. Just one second here. Let me put this. Yeah, so good morning to our colleagues out west, really Alaska folks and California folks, and of course our East Coast. Good afternoon to a lot of folks, and evening, and even good evening to our folks in other parts of the world. We're super excited to be able to share with you some of the work that we've been doing as a collaborative of some partners here in California. And what's really exciting to me to present to you today is that I'm hearing this theme of spreading, and of collaboration in STEAM and STEM. And it just warms my heart to know that this group is just so active and purposeful in their outreach and programs that they offer. And it inspires us as our collaborative to continue to move forward. And in doing so, I want to share a little bit about our collaborative with you all. So this collaborative was formed a couple years ago during the pandemic, when we received a small grant from UCAR to put together a collaborative of folks who are interested in spreading Earth system science throughout the community. So I reached out to both GLOBE partners and also non-GLOBE partners to see if we could form a team that could not only support the work that we do individually, but also spread the work we could do collectively. And so myself, I'm at UC Berkeley, and my partner Svetlana Darsh is at West Ed, and we formed the UC Berkeley West Ed GLOBE Partnership, core partners. And we also have a number of GLOBE partners that are a part of our program, including Peter Falcon at NASA JPL, and Peggy Folletta, longtime GLOBE partner. She's now at Elkhorn Slough National Estuarine Research Reserve. We also have another member at San Francisco Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve, Matt Ferner, who's a scientist with San Francisco State University. We also have two other partners in Southern California, Jerry Salazar with the Los Angeles Unified School District Office of Outdoor Environmental Education, as well as Kay Ferrari, who runs the Solar System Ambassador Program out of NASA JPL in Southern California. So as you can see, we have representation in both Northern, Central, and Southern California for this collaborative. And together we've called ourselves the California Strong Partners, because we feel as though together we're much stronger than we are individually. So just a little bit about who this collaborative group is comprised of. And so one of the first things we did was come together and form a vision statement and a mission statement. And this vision and mission are really, I'm not going to read it, but I'll let you take a look at it here. But really, our goal is to promote environmental stewards in youth, as youth, and hopefully then they carry this idealism to their programs as they move through college and career. And hopefully we're a little bit better off than we were 30 years from now than we are right now. And we do this by kind of really focusing on GLOBE protocols and these practices of outdoor science learning, of earth system science. So we're in the classroom, both in a formal capacity, but we're also outside of the classroom in informal capacity. So some of our programs that we'll talk to you about today are both formal and or informal programs, but all pretty much within a K-12 education span of youth. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about our first program today, and this is with the Solar System Ambassadors. Solar System Ambassadors are a group of individuals that go through a training. They actually apply and go through a group of training to learn more about NASA resources and assets, and they are all around the world. They love to work in international communities as well as United States communities. There's more than 1,000 Solar System Ambassadors. They're retired scientists or teachers, TV personalities, believe it or not. We have some meteorologists in California that are Solar System Ambassadors. But really, there's a group of individuals that are really passionate about supporting STEM education in any way they can. And Kay Ferrari at NASA JPL is the person in charge of this group. One of the things our collective is doing with them is we're actually introducing them to GLOBE protocols. They know about the GLOBE Observer app, but we really want to get them more involved in K-12 education, both formally and informally. So we will be holding we're developing now a set of webinars for the California, which is over approximately 150 ambassadors in California alone. And so we're going to be developing a webinar series of about 8 webinars that will cover anything from protocol training, how to serve as subject matter experts in a classroom, either virtually or in person. And one of our main focus areas is this idea of mentoring students for student research projects so that our students can participate not only in the Pacific Region Student Research Symposium, but also participate in the International Virtual Student Symposium as well. So really important work in kind of getting more of a family or collaborative atmosphere around the Solar System Ambassadors. And so we'll be, we've already sent out a survey, so we're right now designing the webinar series, but interestingly enough, a lot of our ambassadors want to learn about hydrosphere protocols. So we'll be moving forward with that in the fall and starting offering those webinars. And then what we'd like to do is roll this program out to the GLOBE community as a whole, so that if they have solar system ambassadors in their states or their areas, their regions, they can maybe duplicate or offer a similar set of webinars to get them engaged in the GLOBE program. All right, our next program that I'll talk about is with LA Unified School District. And I wanted to share with you how this program began. Jerry Salazar, who is the program director for the Office of Outdoor Education, Environmental Education at LA Unified School District, approached our collaborative in wanting to have their student camps offer GLOBE protocol training during the camps. They have a mandate in LA Unified that all 5th graders have to experience outdoor education. And so they've dedicated quite a bit of funding for this to happen. And they've already had group camps for students to go to, but now all LA Unified School District students will be experiencing this. So our role was to provide protocol training to those camp counselors who are with those students. In addition to that, we had an after-school program in collaboration with UCLA, who developed curriculum for an outdoor education experience with LA River, Friends of LA River. And they're a nonprofit organization that is interested in looking at the evolution and quality of water within the LA River area. So we train their folks as well in hydrosphere protocols. And so this is just a program near and dear to our hearts because we feel as though there's a lot of opportunity to spread into other locations of the state. And we were successful in doing that for a Sacramento camp where sixth graders come to Sacramento County, sixth graders come to a week-long camp up in the mountains in Northern California. And we trained the teachers at that camp to do globe protocols in atmosphere and biosphere. So lots of opportunities to take a collaborative and spread it to other areas of the state. And so this makes a great collaborative effort with Jerry and his team. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Svetlana now, who's going to tell you a little bit about our work on our international collaboration.
Great. Thank you, Tracy. And just wanted to point out that the LA River Project in outdoor education, it's another great vehicle for inserting globe or providing experiences for young people that is not directly through classrooms. So we're excited to be sort of reaching youth in lots of different ways. So one of the things that has been near to all of our hearts, I think, for a long time is leveraging this incredible community that we have to really foster collaboration among teachers across the globe, and specifically, particularly among the students. We have this unique opportunity, unlike many, many other wonderful environmental education programs, to really help build a community of young people who will be future colleagues, right? We talk about STEM career development, and learning how to work with others across the planet is just a critical experience for them. So we were, Peter Falcon, whom many of you know from JPL, had a connection with Slovakia. And we met with the coordinators in Slovakia, and there was an interest in creating some strategy for collaborating between ourselves and schools in Slovakia. And we decided that the first step would be to sort of lay out some steps. How would that work? The coordinators wanted some guidance. We had some experience. So we put together actually a little guide that includes some key steps. Many of you have done this before. And I will say at the end, but now also, that we have a little document that we would love to share with you and get your input for anybody who is interested in contributing to building a globe collaboration guide, or a small one that may not duplicate others, but builds on what you all know. Anyway, so the steps that we've identified is that first, the country coordinators need to put teachers in touch with one another. They need to facilitate planning the experiences, engagement over what we determined would be 3 sessions, and then some follow-up activities. So I'll just say a little bit more about that. I also want to say that that Peter connected us with Ramona Mercea from Malta, who's had tremendous success in doing this work. And she provided some really, really great input to this document and to our thinking about how collaboration could work. So the big idea is that we want to make these both learning rich, but also really fun and inspiring experiences. And we want to make sure that there is an opportunity to exchange ideas about or exchange information about each other's cultures, as well as to work around a science phenomenon or a science question or some science related goals. So the steps again is that we want teachers to be able to kind of identify their goals, how they're going to attain their goals, and then in how they want to also engage subject matter experts into the conversation, because those are really inspiring for students, and they also really provide really important input to student projects. And over those 3 sessions, the students would get to know one another, examine data together, and then sort of wrap up and figure out what kind of follow-up steps they wanted to engage in over time. Again, the key is to build relationships in addition to building science skills. And we want all of this to be as intentional as possible so that the relationships can actually continue over time. I think that's all I have, Tracy. Again, if you would like to see our little document and contribute to it in any way, please feel free to put your name in the chat.
All right. Thank you very much. And obviously, one of our goals with this is to spread what's happening in California with students and what their research is to students in other countries. And one of those opportunities to spread student research is through working with sensors. And so I'm going to turn it over to Peggy, who's going to talk to you a little bit about what her work is and hopes to be with using. And if you were here earlier, you might have listened to Todd about his CO2 sensors, but I'm going to turn it over to Peggy now.
Hi. And having been a GLOBE teacher for many years and having done collaborations, as Anna was talking about, it was a joy to work with her and our colleague in Malta to put this document together, because when I did several collaborations with teachers from other countries, but I had to create it from the ground up. And so this document, I think, is really going to be helpful for teachers who want to do a collaboration, and it'll save them a lot of time and really focus them on what's important. So I recommend checking that document out. And I think, as both my colleagues have said, the GLOBE program lends itself to worldwide collaborations, and we all should try to take advantage of those. So back to this carbon dioxide sensor. I didn't realize Todd was going to be doing a whole presentation, but I'm going to give you our take on this carbon dioxide sensor that was mentioned in the previous part of the session. But before I start that, I just want to give a big thanks to John Risby and Deanna DeBockhurst from UCAR for their leadership in allowing us in California to organize our collaboration, because we have so many different skills that we've been able to share that it's been a real pleasure to work with all these folks. And actually, we had a chance to do some face-to-face meeting in Estes Park and meet with the other collaborative groups from around the country. So on to the carbon dioxide sensor. Todd introduced Physiolabs, actually, and the carbon dioxide sensor at last year's annual meeting. And I heard about that, and I thought, being that this is the most important greenhouse gas, our collaborative group was interested in finding out more about the sensor and how we could include it in our GLOBE activities. The idea that students could put the sensor together and then program it was like the icing on the cake. So we asked Todd to introduce us to Heidi and Joe, who you've met today from Physiolabs, who gave us an introduction to the sensor. And a few of us have tried out the sensor, and I was interested in it because my job at Elkhorn Slough Reserve is training teachers and working with students as an informal educator at a site with a variety of habitats. We run GLOBE teacher trainings and have included GLOBE protocols in many of the activities we offer to students who come to our place, to our site on field trips. We recently added a carbon activity to our menu, which includes reviewing the carbon cycle, carrying out allometric activities, and taking students into our forest to measure tree circumferences to determine the above ground carbon content. And so this carbon dioxide sensor would seem just like a great extension to activities such as this, where we could actually measure the carbon dioxide in some of our different habitats. and maybe have it at our atmosphere site as well. So Tracy, Peter, Matt, they are all interested in the sensor for various reasons and for similar reasons. And so I worked with our drone specialist at Elkhorn Slough, and we put the sensor on a drone and flew it over our grassland, estuary, and forest, and just to see if we could detect differences in carbon dioxide in these different locations. But because a drone has this rotor, it really stirs up the air, and we have to work on it because we were starting to get these drastically changing readings. But that made us think we have another partner that takes cameras up on kites, and the Aaron Project. So perhaps that team could partner with us to take this sensor up different elevations and different habitats. We have interested teachers that we work with and plan to write a grant to run a workshop with them soon to explore some of these possibilities. If some of you are interested in working with us on this project, again, let us know. Maybe you could put your name in the chat. Todd and Peter have been working with I think with Margaret Pippin, who I think was on this session, and look at the feasibility of maybe getting to the point where this could become a GLOBE protocol. I think there's some work to be done on the sensor, but I think that's in the works. I see, and so just wanted to extend a little bit further on how we see the importance of that carbon dioxide sensor in our in the work that we plan to use. Are there any questions?
I think Peggy, we'll take questions at the end. We'll talk about, we have a couple more projects to talk about, and then I think we'll have time to open it up.
Okay.
But thanks, Peggy, for leading this effort with Peter and working with Todd, which is again another example of the power of collaboration as we work with folks not just in California but across the country. And invite you all to continue putting your names and emails in the chat so that we can connect with you after the meeting. So I'm going to move on and share with you a little bit about our project and talking about collaboration. This project came to us through Sandro in Italy. And Sandro was instrumental in engaging him and our colleagues, Alessandra in Australia, about this idea of microplastics, which is a very hot topic for California and could be in your area too. Having students study microplastics in the environment has been going on in different parts of the world with GLOBE, especially in Europe. But we really hadn't had a huge presence here in the United States in using GLOBE or developing a GLOBE protocol or using GLOBE protocols in combination with microplastics in the environment. So we had a unique opportunity, and Matt helped us out as our lead scientist in developing what we call the 4-day pacing guide. And I know it's 4 days, so that doesn't seem like a lot of time, but we developed a 4-day pacing guide for K-12 teachers to use, and it's at different grade levels, where students could study the microplastics in their own communities, in their own waterways where they live. And so we piloted this 4-day pacing guide in elementary school with 5th graders, with 7th graders, and with high school 11th graders. And so the whole idea was to actually have those students filter community water and look at it underneath the microscope to identify any microplastics that they found in their communities. And so this is just a few pictures of us working in the classrooms. That's Matt working with a 5th grade class. And it was really an exciting opportunity for us to kind of understand how this pacing guide would or would not work. And so with teachers, and so we are in the process of refining that pacing guide to make it more teacher and student friendly, but also looking at the type of equipment that could be used, and making it more economically friendly as well, and determining what kind of microscopes would work well. And this is just a picture of some of in the middle here of microplastics that students did find in their own waterways. And it's really an eye-opening experience, so to speak, because as you all can imagine, you can't see these with the naked eye, but you put it underneath even a dissecting microscope, and the microscopes kind of come alive, and you hear a lot of wows in the classroom as students are looking through these microscopes, and wow, I didn't think anything was on this filter paper. But we're really excited about the program. We'll be writing up a short report with a more firm 4-day pacing guide, and how it can be combined with other GLOBE protocols that you may be doing, including temperature and pH in a waterway near you. So thank you for that, and we'll keep you posted. And I wanted to kind of just open it up right now, and for Peggy and Svetlana as well, to kind of chime in on what our next steps may be for, and this is something we talked about, as Peggy mentioned, we met face-to-face in Estes Park recently in Colorado, and kind of looking at how our group moves forward, and how you may use this kind of opportunity to think about how your collaborative efforts may move forward as well. And one of the things that our goal is to kind of spread this group, so that we're not just working in California with our own collaborative efforts, but also expanding that in developing partnerships outside of California, for those of you who are interested in working with us, and also just to spread, GLOBE protocols or system science practices across the world, I'll say, and especially across the country, where we can promote our work and our talents. And we're just, as I said at the beginning, we realize we're much stronger in working together than we are working individually. And that is just a really important piece, I think, of what GLOBE gives us, and that sense of community. And as Tony said earlier today, that sense of family, where we can, take the expertise that we all have and share that with others. So I thank you for your time and your energy today. This is our group here and our contact information. If you are in question of who to contact or how to contact us, feel free to email me. And I'm also on the GLOBE website. You can friend me, and I would love to share our work and learn from you all on how we can improve what we're doing here. So thank you for your time. And I think if there's Eslam, I'm not sure if we have any time left, but if there are questions, we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Tracy, we do have time left. Actually, it's
okay.
We have like 10 more minutes. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
So if you have questions, please go ahead and post your questions here in the chat or in the chat platform, wherever, and I will keep an eye on the platform.
So a little bit about the microplastics. There's a little bit of information in the chat there. As Tony said, that this is not a GLOBE protocol, and that what we're advocating is to combine this as a pilot in combination with existing GLOBE protocols like water temperature, transparency, pH, and to use it as a tool to better understand the environment and the factors which may affect transparency and pH and water temperature. We are working with Sandro in putting together a package that can be reviewed by the GLOBE community as a protocol addition. It's not forthcoming anytime in the next few weeks or few months, but I'm sure you'll be learning more about it as we move forward within the community. We're really focused on providing this as a pacing guide platform. So there's a learning component to it where there's, like I said, a pacing guide. So there's an introductory lesson about what microplastics are and the effects on the environment. There's a lab preparation day. There's actually a lab day. And then there's the fourth day is putting it all together in a storytelling platform where the students can show what kind of learning they've experienced in the classroom by having this little mini unit on microplastics. And we will be posting that pacing guide within the GLOBE Mission Earth webpage on at the GLOBE website when it's ready, and we'll do an announcement as well for folks.
Jen, I see your text about the State Department collaboration. I will follow up with Kristen and Lynn to see where that document is. As I mentioned, I think there's a lot of interest in collaboration and a lot has already been written. So we clearly want to build on existing documentation.
So Jen and Svetlana, Jen, I think you're referring to the exchanges. I actually just came across that document last night in looking for something else, but I came across that document. So let me see if I can find it again now, and I can put the link into the chat here. But yes, it's still there somewhere. So let me just find it. And I think that's the one that you're referring to, because I do believe that they presented on that in the Detroit meeting, and it was an outgrowth of the Zika project, right? Yeah. Okay. So let me find that, and I will put the link in there.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. And I think you heard the word pilot a lot. This was a year where we were generating a lot of ideas and getting things going, but the clay is soft on all of this. So one of our goals, I think, going forward is to sort of start to formalize a few of these things, and then as we also spread, but we really just leverage the expertise and interests of the people in the group, which was just a really great strategy.
All right. Well, thank you guys for your time and energy and questions. And we appreciate the opportunity that GLOBE has given us to present our work, and look forward to continuing with the rest of the learning this week. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Svetlana. Thank you, Peggy, and the rest of your team, Peter Falcon, Matt Ferner, Jerry Salazar, all of them, and Kay Ferrari. Thank you so much for being with us today and presenting. And thank you everybody for attending our sessions today. Please use the polls on the annual meeting platform website it should be under the join meeting button. You will see polls. Please take those polls, and we would love to hear your feedback. So please take that those polls and just send us your your feedback. We will start back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Please join us again tomorrow for a day filled with great sessions and opportunities to connect. And if there's nothing else and no other questions, thank you so much for attending and have a wonderful day.
And just as a reminder for the US partners, there is the meeting, I believe, coming up today. And let me just double check on that on the agenda. But I believe that is the case. And then I did put the document link in there. Apologies that it's so long, but that's what it came out to when I copied and went to it. So I'm gonna hear how my
Tony,
yes.
I think the document that you sent is one that we actually developed that is a little bit all of the guidance related to the Globe website is some of that is out of date. So I think there's an additional document. So yeah.
Okay, well, let me look for that one because
But please.
I can I won't find it probably now, but I can talk with Lynn about it and
Awesome.
see if we can get that, because that's what I thought that one was, but maybe I'm mixing it up with the other one because I came
Unless this one-
across a lot of documents last night when I was looking for
Yeah, unless this one was adopted, which is very cool. I think this is.
Okay, so yes, there is the US partner meeting at 1 p.m. Coming up today. So we would say goodbye to our international folks, and we will have our US partners have a meeting this afternoon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you,
Thanks,
Tony.
Eslam.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Ciao.
Yep.
Bye bye. See you
Bright
tomorrow.
and early.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.